Hello, and welcome to the third ever StartEngine Demo Day. I'm Johanna Cronin, and I will be your host. Today, we're going to hear from a number of companies that have launched in the past month. Each business will have 5 minutes to pitch their presentation, and then 4 minutes of question and answer. Feel free to use the chat bubble, which is on the right-hand side. You can comment any questions that you have for the founder, and we will answer it during Q&A. After the presentation is over, you will have a chance to go to their campaign page, you can ask additional questions, and you can invest in the companies. Without further ado, let's get started with our first company. Nish, are you there? Wonderful. Nish is the founder of Power to Peer. Nish, take it away.
That's him.
That's him.
He's got to turn his thing down.
Turn my headphones down.
That's coming from his side.
I know, I can turn my headphones quieter.
Oh, you're sorry. You're
Lower. Lower.
She's the most sensitive ears in the world.
I gotta add the demo day. Just kind of put it on the front for it. Email.
Can you turn that off? The microphone.
It's off yet.
Okay, Max can't hear
Anything?
anything.
Really? Where's Max? Is his volume up and all that stupid stuff?
Should be, yeah.
Can hear me. no sense.
The inputs come in. Do I try leaving the thing? Okay, stop. I think the microphone's
Niche, can you go?
on. You can't hear you. I don't know what's happening. Yep. Everything's right. Turn the speakers. Stop it. See what's going on. Makes no sense. Should I try and unplug it? Plug it again. Vincent. Should I try and unplug it? Plug it back in. Yes. Yeah, we going to stop. Did we stop the broadcast too? Yeah. Stop.
Niche. Hi, Niche. This is Johanna. We are having brief technical issues. So I'm going to put you on pause right now. It'll take us hopefully just a couple minutes to sort them out, and then we're going to bring you back in for Q&A. Okay. I believe it was breaking up, and they only heard part of it, and that's part of the issue. So give me just a few minutes, and then we will regroup.
sure it's right. Yeah, so it's on the crate. Is that my phone? There's still no. You just said hello. Talk to me if you want.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
So
Can you hear me?
I can hear
So we
you.
all have that.
We are doing a final test because we want to make sure. Let's see.
Yeah, you're coming out very clear to me. So
Okay, good.
Thumbs up for a minute.
Give us 1 second. We're doing final.
should we redo the presentation in case people didn't hear it?
Yes.
This is right. Thumbs up.
Okay. Okay, great. So, Nish, apologies for the technical difficulties. We want to start you back over from the beginning so you have a chance to pitch your business in front of the attendees. So, I will move back to your first slide and then you can take it away.
Great. So, hello everyone. This is Dr. Nish Walker. I am the founder and the president of Power to Peer, which is a company dedicated for bringing the new era of energy into the world by creating a blockchain secure, resilient microgrid with advanced solar energy platform, enabling peer-to-peer power trading using software-defined controller. So, next slide, please. As we all know, that the big problem today are the old aged main grid, which essentially are charging you a lot of money, 18 to 22 cents per kilowatt hour, and also they have one point of failure, as you have seen in the case of Puerto Rico and other places, when there are natural disasters that happen, then the grids are off and there are millions of people out of power. So, and with that aging grid, they are also vulnerable for the cyber attacks, and it's using a lot of fossil fuel, so that we are polluting our world again and again, creating the carbon emission, which is very detrimental for the life of our planet. So our solution is to create a highly sophisticated photonic solar conversion of solar power, creating distributed microgrids in a way that everyone can get power locally from their own local grids that we will install and which are secured by the blockchain as we develop them. At the same time, you can do very simple transaction from the local microgrid so that you have peer-to-peer transaction. You can buy and sell power that you may be generating yourself as putting some solar panels on your rooftop and joining this ecosystem of marketplace for the transaction of solar kilowatt hours. So our company has completed a minimum viable product which involves two things. One is the microgrid with the IoT devices that are connecting directly to our app, which is called P2P Connect. And with that, we will be able to do all the transactions. And it's a very easy app, just like you use Uber app. You will be using P2P Connect app in order to take care of all your requirement for energy at your home, which is delivered by the clean sources. Next slide, please. So the market potential for our product, which is essentially solar microgrid with the advanced solar technology using blockchain to deliver peer-to-peer, where everyone can buy and sell kilowatt hours that they produce using clean energy. The demand for energy is all-time high. As you know, in 2016 itself, there were almost 12.5 gigawatts of installation of the solar panels and solar energy devices across United States alone. Internationally, I think it has gone up to 100 gigawatts that they are reaching the level for 2018. The microgrid market, where it is distributed as compared to the main grid, where the power is coming from very distant places, the distributed grids are local, and that's why they are microgrids up to 1 megawatt. And there is a growing market from 17 billion in 2015 to about 39 billion in 2022. So we are poised to get into the market, which is highly lucrative, and it will serve the urban and rural neighborhoods as well as commercial applications that we are thinking about the residential and commercial household. So we are going to have significant market share in this potential growth market. Next slide, please. So in terms of our milestones, started our company 2018 January, and the work was going on since June 2017. Background at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. We did a lot of innovation in terms of advanced solar power using the photonic solar conversion, which gives 20% more power than any panels out there. And with that, we created the microgrid, and then we went into another innovation of blockchain technology in that year, where we created the blockchain, which is essentially helping us doing peer-to-peer transactions using smart contracts. So all your transactions are done in an unhackable ledger, where you can see everything that you have bought and sold in terms of kilowatt hours. And then we went into resiliency of the microgrids, where we created the software-defined network. So no dependency on the hardware that fail, but connecting all the dots using software-defined controllers, so that we can provide 99% uptime for power going to your home, because we are able to harness power from different sources in real time. And if one source is down, we can move to reconfigure the network, power network, so you always get power. And with that, we are now at the place we are building a minimum viable product demonstration in the city of Burlington, Massachusetts, with a 15.4 kilowatt solar grid, which has 4 different grids in it, and complete demonstration of our resilient blockchain enabled solar microgrid. So with that, I think we are poised for the great thing and taking away a major share of the market, which is a growth market. Next slide, please. So for this particular endeavor, you definitely need a very, very good team. My background is MIT. I was a faculty at MIT in mechanical engineering and have been involved with solar energy since my childhood. And I have spent over 25 years innovating different technologies. I'm supported by a team of professionals like Rick Lewandowski, who has 35 years of experience, has worked at 4 different solar companies, made them highly successful. And then we also have software engineers like Eric, who has done blockchain technology, and Vinod. And then we also are blessed with operational team, which is headed by Mamta, who has lots of experience in implementing large projects. And then we have a great team of developers and also people who will connect our power to peer app. So P2P Connect app is going to almost same as what you are very used to, like Uber app. Very simple to use. You can put yourself on it and connect to our network. So we welcome you all to invest in our crowdfunding campaign. Be generous. We need a lot of help from you. And once you become part of that, you will also become part of our power network as our potential consumer and potential customer. So we welcome you all. We want you to really help us out to save this planet by deploying the solar energy all across the planet, starting with the distributed network, where every community will grow because they grow their own power locally without big bills that are coming from main grid, which fail all the time. And with that, we will improve economy at the same time, reduce the carbon emission, and save our planet. Thank you very much for your time, and I want to see you as part of our crowdfunding campaign. Thank you very much, and I'm ready to take your questions.
Thank you so much, Nish. We have a few questions from the audience. So the first question is, can you describe what the funds that you're raising on StartEngine will be used for?
Yes, so we are in this level, we are raising about 100,000 and we have already reached the level of 35,000. So we are already on the way there. We are very thankful to all the people who have already invested and we encourage everyone listening to invest. What we are essentially doing this 100,000 is to, as we said, completing our minimum viable product, proof of the entire business model, with certain customers and with our P2P Connect app, which will be made available to you as soon as it is done with this funding. So creating P2P app, creating a software-defined network controller behind a firewall created by the blockchain technology.
And William Lee on YouTube asks, did you say 15.4 kilowatts? 15.4 kilowatts is approximately the need of one or two houses. How are you setting up the trial?
So in this 15.4 kilowatt, normally a household will require 5,000 kilowatt hour per year. We are essentially using 4 households where we'll partially deploy this and show the efficacy of our model. And we know that this is a minimum viable product demonstration, so we did not want to create big household, but our goal is to create 1 megawatt microgrid in every city, which will help almost about 1,500 to 2,000 households. So while we are doing 15.4 as a demonstration project, we are also poised to create a 1 megawatt microgrid in every city. About 4 or 5 cities have already shown a lot of interest in Boston area, and so we will be developing those.
Wonderful. I know there are a few remaining questions, so I ask all of our YouTube watchers to go to the campaign page. There's a link in the comment section. You can ask any of the questions directly on the campaign page, and Nish can answer those. Thank you so much, Nish. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for StartEngine, and we look forward to finishing our campaign as soon as possible.
Great.
Thank
And our next company is going to be WCB Productions, and we have Cornell here to present. Cornell, can you hear me?
Yes, hello there. It's Cornell Christensen.
Wonderful. Take it away.
Thank you. I'm a playwright, and I have a 1940s film noir musical called Wicked City Blues, which was a success in Salt Lake City and is going to open off Broadway in March at St. Luke's Theater on 46th Street at 8th Avenue. And it's a film noir musical, but it's a completely unique form of musical. It's completely unique structure. And that's what I do. I, as a playwright, write musicals that have a unique structure. I have several of them. One of them is already playing off Broadway and was funded on StartEngine, called It Came From Beyond. And this one, Wicked City Blues, let me explain what's unique about it. I go back and forth between two worlds throughout the musical. So there's two storylines that go back and forth and parallel each other and interconnect. And the same actors play dual roles. So they have to switch on the spot. It's very fun and exciting. Let's go to next. Wicked City Blues, the two worlds are a radio show. You have a 1940s radio show with actors singing at microphones, and you have the sound effects man who does the sound effects live, and they're very funny, crinkling up plastic for fire or walking on gravel, and it's a lot of fun. And it goes from a radio show, it goes to black, and then it goes to a film noir movie. It's what the radio audience would be imagining in their minds if they were listening to the radio show. And what the film noir movie story is, let's go to next. It's a detective story. You've got the hard-boiled detective from the 40s with the beautiful, sexy blonde who's the femme fatale, and she's suspected of murder. and he's trying to get her off while he's falling in love with her. And as the story progresses, she appears more and more to be the murderer, and he's falling in love with her. And by the end, you don't know whether she's going to kill him or whether he's going to end up in love with her. So it's a murder mystery right out of the 1940s. But as the mystery is told, it goes back and forth to the radio show. So this is completely unique. You've never seen this before, and it will work even better as a movie. And I've written the screenplay, and we're planning to do a movie of it, and it'll be easier to switch back and forth, to just cut and go to a new setting with new costumes and makeup. But for now, we're doing it on stage, live on stage, and it's amazing to see. And the one I have in New York right now off Broadway, that was funded on StartEngine, is It Came From Beyond. It's 50s sci-fi. And in that story, a high school kid has a comic book, and he imagines he's the professor in the sci-fi comic book. And the people in his high school world are the characters in the comic book. So it goes back and forth from the people in the comic book to the sci-fi story of aliens attacking from outer space. So the two stories interconnect in parallel, and each of them is resolved at the end in two separate storylines. Let's go next. This play, Wicked City Blues, was a success in Salt Lake City. It was named 10 Best Plays of the Year, and we got great reviews from a number of the publications, including Salt Lake Tribune recommended it. And what they loved was our choreography, and we have this brilliant choreography, Brian Paul Mendoza. And if you go to our pages on StartEngine, there's 4 videos there of 4 of the song numbers, and you can see how good the choreography is. And also you'll see how good the songs are. We have a Broadway composer did the songs, Norman Thalheimer, and that's another strength of ours, is the music, because you can't have a successful musical unless you have great song numbers, and we do. And what we found is we've figured out a way to do very low budget musicals. That's why we raised only $20,000 for It Came From Beyond on StartEngine. We do it by, let's go to next. Yeah, this will be our second raise on StartEngine. Our producers know how to do musicals very low budget. We do non-union. They operate the theaters themselves, so we get very low deposits and rental, so we can keep our costs really lean, really low, and we're able to do e-blasts as our only really method of marketing. The theater's located 1 block from Times Square, so we're able to hand out flyers there to all the people buying the discount tickets there. And we get a lot of tourists come walk over 1 block and come to our show. And we're going to open Wicked City Blues in that same theater in March. We'll have 2 shows running there. It Came From Beyond now has run since April. It's run 6 months, and it's going to run at least 3 more months. It's going to run at least 9 months to January. I think it'll run at least a year. And anytime you run 9 months, you're considered a success off Broadway. And while maybe you haven't paid back your investors, because very few off-Broadway musicals do see profit in that first year, but what it does is it opens you up to being licensed by theaters and producers all over the country and all over the world. And even more important to me is the high schools, because now you have 35,000 high schools do a musical every year, and usually a big production now, and they pay $1,000 to $3,000 to us, to the authors and the investors of the New York show, and we will share in all that money. From not only the CD, I've written the screenplay, I'm planning the movie, there'll be national tour and international tour. We have plans to take this musical lots of places. And by establishing ourselves, this in 1 year in New York off Broadway, we become kind of like an off-Broadway brand, a musical that succeeded in New York, regardless of whether it made profit or not. But it ran in New York, and therefore it's open to running anywhere else around the world. And yeah, my main producer, John Lant, he also is the production manager of Carnegie Hall. So he's a major person in the theater business. He runs all the productions at Carnegie Hall, and he's produced over 100 musicals. He's got 3 musicals running right now off Broadway, including It Came From Beyond. And he's going to do this one, Wicked City Blues. And we have another one planned that also goes back and forth between 2 worlds that we're going to open in June. And our other producer has been around off Broadway running theaters, Ed Gaines, for about 30 years. He's well established. So we have an excellent team of people. That's crucial. We have a very low budget way of going, so that we don't need much money to fund this and to get this open. And we've already hit our minimum on StartEngine, and we don't need much more to open and keep it going and get established, so we can license it all over the country and to high schools. So that pretty much is my presentation. I thank you all, and I welcome any questions. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Cornell. We have a few questions from our viewers. The first is, have you produced any shows before besides the first run of Wicked City Blues? Were they successful?
Well, yes. Well, first of all, I'm the playwright. I'm the writer, and I have 2 producers I'm working with. John Lant, who is the production manager of Carnegie Hall, and produces the shows there. He's produced over 100 shows. He currently has, for example, a show he did off Broadway called Fabulous that ran a year off Broadway and now is being licensed all over the country and making money. So he has had a successful track record. I only produce my own musicals, ones that I write as a playwright. And I had I Came From Beyond ran successfully in Los Angeles. And this one, Wicked City Blues, ran successfully in Salt Lake City. And now they both will be running off Broadway. And so far, It Came From Beyond at the 6-month point is considered a success off Broadway. And once we hit 9 months, which we are, then it's even more of a success. And I think we'll hit at least 1 year, which is a very few off Broadway musicals last 6 months, no less 9 or a year. Okay.
And how much does it cost to put this show on a per night basis?
I can't reveal that. I'm sorry. That's proprietary information because we're competing with Puffs and a lot of off-Broadway musicals. And I can just say that we are very low budget because we operate our own theaters, so we can control the rent and control the deposits that have to be put up. We are non-union, so we don't pay much to the actors. We don't use musicians. We record the music, and we don't do any advertising. We just do email blasts that we own the emails, and also we hand out flyers in Times Square. So I can't give you our numbers on costs.
Great. And then the last question, how much, I think you mentioned this a couple times during your presentation, but how much did you raise on your first offering on StartEngine, and how did you use those funds? Okay.
Well, again, that's proprietary also. You could see that we raised $20,000 on StartEngine. And as we indicated, even in the offering materials, all that money goes into production because that's what it takes, rehearsals and, the rental of the equipment and building the props we had most of the materials we needed from the LA show, so we didn't need to spend much. Same thing with Wicked City Blues. We have most of the materials from the Salt Lake City production, so we don't need what a normal musical that's just starting out needs. A lot more things. We have the choreography, the staging, we have the music, we have the props, we have we have a lot of the things necessary. So we can open a show at what I'm saying is for $20,000, we can open a show, and as long as we can keep it running on a low budget, we can keep going. And here we are at 6 months, about planning on 9, and hoping for at least a year. That's where we are.
Great. Thank you so much, Cornell. And
Okay,
just as
thank you.
a reminder, in the comments section, we have a link to WCB Productions if you want to visit their StartEngine campaign and ask any additional questions or invest. Next up, we have Scott from Full Partner. Scott, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Wonderful. Take it away, Scott.
Great. Hey, thank you all so much for being here today and listening to this. When I'm done, you'll have the same kind of enthusiasm about this. Full Partner is a software as a building cloud-based online business services, website, commerce, CRM, events management, email, bunch of services, all in one integrated package, all running on a single database. And I'll tell you more about the details of that. All of our customers are subscribers. They come on a monthly subscription basis, and all of the services are accessed through a web browser. So it's all online. There's no software to install. And to understand what we've got, I want to go back a little bit in history. In 2001, when we got started, and we've sold over $7 million worth of software services since then. But we started out just building custom websites for people back in 2001. And people wanted, content management. They wanted e-commerce. And the nice thing about this is the customers are essentially paying for us to develop functionality. And as a result, we did what they wanted. So if they wanted everything in one database combined, so they didn't have to move from one vendor to another, they didn't have to. So next.
Scott, can you hear me? It's Johanna.
Yes.
I think you're cutting out a bit, so I don't know if you are using your phone, but if you could go to an area with more reception. It sounds like on your end there's a bit of a connection issue.
I'm on my computer. I'll get a little bit closer. Is that better?
It sounds good from here. I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. So, okay, we go next, please. Great. So, circa 2016, we had built what we called the web system. It had websites, blogs, and surveys built into it, e-commerce and the shopping, marketing automation comparable to Infusionsoft or other types of products for automating your marketing campaigns, a full learning management system for offering online courses, events registration and an appointment calendar, affiliate management for commissioning people to send you business, email broadcasting, and a CRM, all in one interface, all in one package that you could get with a monthly subscription fee. Now, we said, this is great. We want to take this out to the market and do a broader sell on it. So next, we asked the fundamental question, what do we have to do to grow this? And we did an analysis in the market. And we looked and said, all right, what are other companies doing to be successful to really grow in the small business market? And we isolated 3 things. One is to increase your average revenue per customer. I mean, you want to offer a lot of different products within your offer so people can upgrade with. Well, we felt like we had that pretty covered because of the breadth of our offer. We wanted to increase our customer retention. So good, we wanted to stay so unique, they have to stay. And we felt we had that pretty covered as well because we were offering a lot of solutions. People liked the product. It was serving their needs very, very well. And frankly, they couldn't leave easily because there wasn't any other vendor doing exactly what we were doing. Third, have a very low cost of acquisition with a free and low cost version. Make it easy, like go to the website, click and sign up and have a great customer experience. This is the area where we needed work. And we said, because at that time, our system was pretty much designed for us to build a website for the customer and then hand it over to the customer. Next. So what we did is we went out and looked at other companies in the market to see what are they doing to get this kind of growth. On the left, we have a whole category of products I call the low price, high volume products and services. You do it yourself, drag and drop website builders. See these advertised all the time, build your website in an hour. And there's many, many of them out there doing really quite wonderful work. Email broadcasting, make it simple to create an email and shoot it out to your list. Blogs, lead pages, surveys, companies like SurveyMonkey, events registration. These are all products that are typical of this area of low cost of acquisition. So that typically the customer does self-fulfillment, which means they go in, they click, and they get on it themselves. And many of them offer what's called a freemium offer. Now, freemium is not a free trial. Freemium means you get a free version of it that you can use forever. And it's an amazing thing for pulling people in because they want to give it a try. And for many cases, they use it indefinitely. Now, why do you want to do a freemium offer? Because it's a lead generation opportunity. And you want those people then to upgrade into further levels of your system. We said, aha, we can do this. We can build these pieces or upgrade our pieces to match the functionality of these market-leading offers. So we upgraded our website builder to be an easy drag and drop interface. We improved email broadcasting, the blogs, and so forth, to where our system is now really competitive on every level with the people that are doing this. In fact, this is our version 7 has been in beta for several months, and it's going to be in production on the 29th of October. To be able to see all this thing in production at that time. Looking over to the right, this is kind of hard to see it, but this slide is a picture of the Grand Canyon. And that's indicative of what we saw in the market besides this reality of the low price, high volume people. On the right, high price, low volume. Contact management, e-commerce, marketing automation, and so forth. These are a whole class of product that are typically sold by consultants and experts. If you're a small business owner and you want this functionality, you hire somebody to take it. You can have high setup fees, and you can have high monthly fees, in the $100 to $300 to $500 a month range. Versus on the left, you have products that, like I say, come in for free and very low cost. As we looked across this range, we said, you know what? We can manage this. We can take care of this. We have the only solution that I'm aware of in the market that can provide all these different components in one platform. And the price of this entire platform, when we come to market in October, is going to be $49 a month for the website, commerce, events, and $89 a month for the entire package, plus some additional costs if you have larger lists. So this is something that is just a game changer. People are going to come in for free, get started with it, really take advantage of it, and have an experience that is really going to be so different from the usual thing of people coming in, trying to hook together multiple vendors, or eventually just going and hiring a WordPress person to build it all for them, which is kind of the default fallback when they can't figure it out for themselves. Next. So what are we here talking about today? Why am I talking to you? Essentially, when you do a freemium product, the one thing you're pretty guaranteed to get is a bunch of customers. What you hope for is that they will upgrade. And what you also hope for is that you are able to take care of them so their experience is wonderful and your referrals are great. You want word of mouth. You want this thing to grow quickly by people's good experience. So we are looking for some funds to essentially upgrade our web servers and database servers to hire additional support staff to answer the phones, create more customer training programs online and online courses so that they can train themselves without our costs being involved. Additional programming staff and the marketing campaign to build that out. One thing I'll mention again about the web servers, we're going to be moving over to the Amazon AWS hosting system. And the cost of that is as little as 1/10 of what we're paying right now. So we're lowering our costs, we're making it easier to use. We're basically opening this wide door on our great system to let lots and lots of people come in and take advantage of it. So that's what we're doing today. Thank you for listening.
Great. Thank you so much, Scott. So we have a few questions. One of them is, how big is your current team?
Current team is 4.
4?
Yeah, we have our customer support person, a few customer support people, and then our financial officer and myself.
And second question, you mentioned that you've been around since 2001. Have you had to pivot your business in that time? How are you adapting to new technological advances?
Well, this has been very much a part of what we've been doing because our primary focus up until 2 years ago was all about building what customers were asking for. They would come to us when they wanted state-of-the-art stuff they couldn't find anywhere else, or they wanted state-of-the-art integration they couldn't find anywhere else. So all we've done over all our years is build the latest and coolest stuff. So then when we shifted over 2 years ago to really add an additional ease of use and low cost of this thing, we went to the top vendors out there and found what they were doing and emulated them. So it's not that we're bringing brand new stuff to market all the time. We're out there basically taking the best of what we can find, bringing it in and offering it in an integrated manner.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Scott. We appreciate it. And as everyone knows, in the comment section on the right-hand side, there is a link to the campaign page for Full Partner. You can go there, ask any additional questions to Scott, and invest in the campaign. Next up, we have Harold from Sober Network. Harold, are you here?
I'm with you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Harold, take it away.
Thank you very much, and welcome everybody, and thank you for sticking around to be introduced to the Sober Network. We would like to invite you all to participate in our fight against the scourge of addiction that is rampaging through our country. Sober Network aims to be the center of all things sober, and yes, we do own that domain name, allthingssober.com. Primarily, we're a technology company. We're very advanced, of course, in our vision and the applications that we've created. We're operating under a both altruistic and capitalistic model where we want to create a win-win-win. And our mission, as you see, is to impact the most amount of people for the least amount of money and cost. Next slide, please. As you see here, there's a national public health emergency. All of us here on the call know somebody. It used to be a 5-degree theory 30 years ago when I started my journey in recovery. It has now been reduced to a 1-degree theory. If it's not us in the mirror, it's somebody we know that is impacted by active addiction. We've all been touched by it. Unfortunately, many of us have been to one too many funerals already. And of course, we know the next funeral that we go to would be somebody very, very close to us that's experienced in my lifetime. And so we're really on a mission to try to do what we can to create some innovative solutions to reduce that likelihood. The new reports, as you see here from the Center of Disease Control, and even as I'm talking, 115 people are going to die today from fentanyl or some derivative here in America. So we're in the business of providing those innovative digital solutions, and we have a history of being in business now for near 20 years on the internet, providing services and meeting the needs of the population. We've created award-winning mobile apps, and that's been recognized through our Substance and Mental Health Services Administration for the now latest craze in the addiction industry, which is medication-assisted treatment. Next slide, number 3, please. So here you have it. What we've created and what has been my vision and a culmination of all of my career endeavors since the last 30 years is the sober economy. And on the left, I know that the print may be a little small for all of you to see very quite clearly, is you have the brands that we own, and they've all been trademarked there, as you see, and registered. The sober economy starts where somebody has no recovery capital. This is languaging and jargoning, and it is very familiar to our industry, where people have exhausted all of their resources. And oftentimes they have alienated the people closest to them, and they need help. And they know they need help, and sometimes they're very reluctant to get it, and all the different variables. So what we want to do is attract them to a brand, which is our main function and our main driver of revenue, which is sober.com. And that's the third one down there on the left-hand column. And underneath that brand and underneath that graphic, you're seeing that what sober.com does is generate the primary source of revenue for the company through lead generation and advertising revenue. So we've been doing that for quite a while and have been very successful. The next thing, what we do is we move into through the economy here is when people then find their help on sober.com through a national directory, is they are able to then use that capital that they're building. And what we want to do is reward them for joining our economy with the brand right above Sober.com, which is our Sober coin. This is a new token economy that we want to introduce into a very dormant industry that has been reliant on a model that's somewhat antiquated and has not seen any new creative solutions introduced in the 30 years that I've been around. So we want to introduce them to access some capital in order to be able to get some support systems in place and be able to use that effectively by downloading our Sober app. And that's called Sober Systems. That's a free app that's actively engaged in the App Store and Play Store. And when people use the app, they are then able to get rewarded for using that. And we're looking at a behavioral management system, a behavioral change system that is as old as time, which is a token economy. So we want to then reward people with our Sober coin. And as they move into stage 3 here, the app used our members in our community. They're responding to different calls to action through Sober.com because we want to retain them as part of our rewards-driven Sober community. So with that said, we have a training module called Sober Coaches. There at the bottom of the graphic on the left. This is also another revenue stream where we sell training and we're able to match their reward. So they earn the coin by using the app, and they trade their coin in for Sober coaching and or training as they play it forward for themselves and, of course, beneficial for their families and communities. And finally, we have the coin in and of itself, which is another sole revenue stream where we're able to then use it as a utility and offer it to treatment centers, of which there are 23,000 that are licensed in the country that we're aware of, to then distribute that coin with their clients for their meeting of their own treatment goals, and also to accept that coin from people who have earned it through our economy on Sober.com through the app utilization and also through the coaching training module. So that's the essence of how our Sober economy is designed. There's nothing else like it out there. When we say the word unique, which of course we know is very overplayed in technology, this is something in our industry that has not yet been implemented, and we haven't found anybody that is even a close second to what we're trying to put in place. Next slide, please. Here you have our most awesome team of people who have helped support me in my vision to make this happen. Along the top row of pictures, that's me on the left. That's who's speaking. My name's Dr. Harold Jonas. And as we go left to right is the core team members. The advisory board underneath is obviously skilled at all the areas that we would have deficits in. And we've attracted people, as you see, left to right, Darren Marble, Frank Walzak, Dr. Jeff Butts, Dr. Roger Watts, and James Nelson, who in themselves all have their expertise and contributions to get us to this stage of the conversation. And finally, the last slide to summarize everything, if you would. We're actively engaged. We're an active corporation. We're generating revenue. Our brands are looking for a investment push so we can then penetrate the market on a larger scale. We're in the process of right now getting ready to launch a TV to web campaign similar to what you may be familiar with care.com, where they go TV to web, where we will generate more revenue through lead generation and also click the call model onto the website. So we're actively engaged in trying to take that revenue stream and then revolutionize the treatment industry, which has been basically stagnant and stuck on a 12-step facilitation model, which is not meeting the needs of today's youth. We're recognizing that their attention span is considerably less than a 60-minute hour, where they're kind of pushed into a community support model, and that's the only avenue that is really available to them. We know through all the data that we've observed and collected and researched that everybody has a phone now. Everybody has a smartphone, and we can touch a lot of people, even those unfortunate people who have declined to be on the side of the road. We can access them through our technology and invite them to participate through a rewards-driven model. So at this point, I would certainly like to entertain any questions that anybody may have on how we can get you involved in joining our fight against addiction.
Thank you so much, Harold. The first question that we have is, how do you plan on recruiting recovery facilities and licensed professionals into the Sober Network?
Well, I've been doing that, and thank you very much. We have one facility that has already agreed to accept our Sober coin in exchange for them presenting at their treatment center. That discount that's been offered is an astounding $7,500. So with that generosity provided, we're using that as a catapult to engage with other facilities as soon as next week at a new trade show conference. These are basically relationships that have to be cultivated in person. So there's a cost involved in attending the trade shows, which are numerous. The next one coming up is in Palm Beach, which fortunately is right up the road from where we are. And we're able to go there and talk to them and present in person the whole concept of accepting Sober coin. Here's the interesting component about the treatment center industry is that they have a lot of beds and a lot of overhead that they have to fill. Oftentimes, if you are able to and know to ask for scholarship services or a discount, we want to basically have them accept our Sober coin in exchange for that discount or scholarship services. So it would be a wash for them and a fantastic PR opportunity for them to say we accept Sober coin and get on this new revolutionary model.
Great. And the last question is, are you targeting certain geographic areas to jumpstart the Sober Network?
Absolutely. That's it. We are currently now looking at our first campaign to go into the Arkansas area. And what we're doing is chasing where reimbursement is highest, and oftentimes where people are renewing their insurance policies, which is now between September and October, and where the reimbursement is. So the marketing schema is to go into there to do our test run with TV to web. And then, of course, if our data plays out as we anticipate, we expect to expand that to a national campaign.
Great. Thank you so much, Harold. And as a reminder, anyone who's looking to ask additional questions about the Sober Network, learn more, or invest, you can visit their campaign page on StartEngine. There is a link in the comment section on the right-hand side. And next up, we have Jason from CFBB Pictures. Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. Take it away.
All right. Hello. My name is Jason Buchanan. I'm with CFBB Pictures. I'm also the creative director of Mad Ones Films in Greensboro, North Carolina. And what we're selling is a very unique idea in the horror industry, in the film industry. Horror movies are thriving right now. Horror movies are not only Oscar contenders, but they're also Oscar winners as well. And we at Mad Ones Films believe that original ideas, not remakes of reboots of recycled franchises, are some of the hottest properties out there right now. And what we feel that we have, is a truly unique idea in a slate of Hollywood movies that just seem to be returned and reframed. So what we have is everyone has seen the movies. I'm sorry, next slide. Next slide, please. Sorry. Excellent. Thank you for bearing with me. Everyone has seen the movies, the television shows where clowns dress up as the serial killers, as the monsters, as the murderers, as the spreaders of mayhem to commit their deeds. I have an entire list. There's both versions of Halloween. There's movies. There's things that go on forever and ever, where they've done the same thing over and over and over again. But what we at Mad Ones Films want to do with Kill Giggles is to sort of take a timeless terror trope and turn it on its rainbow wig-covered head. Because what we have to present is a serial killer of clowns. Next slide, please. And this just talks about, again, some of the box office numbers, the research that we've done based off of the last, the top 20 movies, most profitable movies of all time. Out of those 20, and you can see the research, we have the links provided and everything else below, 50% of those, 10 of those have been horror films. And it's not that we're selling horror as sort of an end-all be-all fix for a bad world that we're in, but we feel that it's a solid investment because no matter the times, no matter the troubles of the people and stuff like that, a distraction such as movies, such as the entertainment industry, has been one of the saviors of humanity time and time again. And again, the horror industry, seems like sort of could be viewed as a sketchy investment. But just based upon the numbers that you see, the box office returns, the return on investments, we feel that the horror industry is probably one of the most strongest ones out there. And we have spent the last several years within Mad One's films building up not only a legitimate reputation on the independent film festival circuit, but also within the distribution outlets as well. As you can see on our StartEngine page and stuff, our last 4 films have achieved physical distribution. Our last 2 films have achieved physical distribution, being released on various anthologies. And our last 3 short films have also been released on broadcast with Shorts TV, which is an international television and cable channel, which is available on DirecTV and AT&T Uverse. The reputation that we've built with Kill Giggles alone, we have the screenplay, and we also have a proof of concept short, both of which have won several awards on the film festival circuit already. This is to contribute in part to the a massive publicity campaign that we've been doing for this film for the last 2 to 3 years, talking about the idea of getting the screenplay done, entering into the competitions, and winning award after award after award, and moving on to much bigger and better things, which is what we've been able to do with Mad One's films and with Kill Giggles. Next slide, please. So where do we go from here? Like I said, we feel that Kill Giggles is really, it's a trend-setting horror / thriller film. And I know, again, you know, the idea of horror films might raise more than a few eyebrows, and I can understand that because horror films run the entire gamut. But what we're talking about with Kill Giggles is based upon a story. We want it to be Alfred Hitchcock meets Stanley Kubrick. It's not going to be full of gratuitous anything, not gratuitous blood, guts, nudity, gratuitous language, any of that kind of stuff, because we don't need that to truly frighten, to thrill, to scare an audience. You don't need to be able to throw everything in their face, because they could turn on CNN or any of the cable news channels, or log on to the internet and see something far worse and far more graphic. But what we want to do is let the audience fill in a couple blanks. So we have an amazing story about Tommy DeSantos, who truly believes that he's hunting monsters. And that's what all the best stories in history are about, is hunting monsters. So again, you know, we've victimized the clowns here, which no one in any of the films, and I have an entire list, you'll see it on our investor pitch video, it fills the entire screen. There's about 25 to 30 just within the last few years alone of films that have done the exact same thing. So what we're going to do is something a little bit different. And I know a lot of filmmakers, especially horror filmmakers, will say that their idea is different and no one's done it before, but we actually mean it, and we literally, no one has done this before. So what we're asking for is to be able to make movie magic. We've got distribution plans lined up. We're lighting a lot of those channels up now, setting up the contacts that we met on the film festival circuit. But what we want to do is to be able to tell this tale, and I hope that you will consider becoming a part of movie magic. Next slide, please. And this is part of the brilliant team, and this is just a fraction of the brilliant team that's going to be putting this movie together. You'll see Mr. John R. Mazza, one of our executive producers, Mr. Jesse Knight, who, you know, our DP and producer, and then Mr. Jason Ledford. All 3 of these gentlemen I've worked with on several films, the last few in particular, that have been able to generate the amount of accolades and adulation that we've done, which is an impressive feat for an independent filmmaker. We haven't had large budgets. Everything we've done on an aglet of a shoestring of a budget, but we've done it extremely well, and we've been able to be recognized by not only our peers, but by those above us, you know, even in the more professional cinematic communities. So we've got something that's truly unique here. And again, like I said, I want to take a timeless terror trope and sort of turn it on its rainbow wig covered head, because no one's done this before. And I know I've said that several times. I'm just trying to drive that point home, because in this day and age, especially within the entertainment industry, to be able to say that and to actually mean it is sort of a rare and impressive feat, I think. So I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation. I'm not sure where we're at time-wise. There's no band to play me off. And again, my name is Jason McCarran. I'm the writer and director of Kill Giggles. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Great. Thank you so much, Jason. I'm technically the band that's playing you off, but we have a few questions first.
I have to apologize. I'm very nervous too, so the spirit of Elvis will hopefully help me. Yes.
You did a great job. So how long will the production for this movie run? What is a typical timeline that you're expecting?
I don't know if there's anything typical about us or what the movie that we're going to make, but we've anticipated, we're looking at a 21-day shoot, and that's a comfortable shoot. We could get it done in 18. We could probably get it done in less than that if we needed to be able to cut corners. But the idea, the cast, the crew that we've been able to put together so far is so perfect that I would rather not have to cut corners. We've had to do that with our short film work before, and this this film needs to be told, and I think the way that we're going to tell it is going to be something that's going to really make a lot of waves in the independent film community and the film community at large.
You're cutting out of it, Jason. Can you hear me?
Okay. I'm sorry. We're looking at a 21-day shoot.
Okay.
Comfortably, we could get it done in 18, but to be able to do everything right in the way that we wanted to, 21 days is what we've anticipated. And I have we have the whole script board broken down scene by scene and day by day. So I have all that paperwork should anyone want further production details. Great.
And last question, once the production is complete, how do you plan on distributing the film? Is the end goal a theatrical release?
It is. That seems to be getting harder and harder to do in this day and age too. But we were just at a film festival last weekend in Austin where we won another award for the screenplay, but talking with the Alamo Draft House and trying to set up perhaps a limited theatrical release. We have distribution talks already for physical distribution. There are 2 or 3 different horror houses out there that are interested just off of what they've seen with the proof of concept and hearing about the story and stuff like that. So we'll definitely be setting up physical distribution, and then we're contacting with the Shorts TV channel that we've dealt with before about doing streaming and VOD options as well. We've set up contacts. We're going to try and be able to pursue contacts with all the outlets. I mean, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, everything that we need to be able to get this in as many different places as possible. So yes, we'll hit everything: theatrical, physical, online, everywhere.
Great. Thank you so much, Jason. And as a reminder, for anyone that wants to learn more about Kill Giggles, ask any questions, or invest, you can visit the StartEngine campaign page. And that concludes our 3rd ever StartEngine Demo Day. Again, all of the links for the companies that presented today are in the comment box on the right-hand side. And just a quick note, we are having the StartEngine Summit, so an in-person event for StartEngine on October 19th in Santa Monica, California, and we invite all of you to attend. This will be our 3rd summit. The last 2 sold out. It's an amazing opportunity to meet companies and hear them pitch for the first times in many cases, to meet some of the top investors. And we have an exclusive discount for you today, which is if you go to startenginesummit.com and enter the discount code DEMODAY30, you will get 30% off your tickets. That is a pretty amazing opportunity. Right now, I think the tickets are $500, but they will end up being $1,000 at the door. So that discount code ends Sunday night, and it's DEMODAY30. Thank you guys so much.